just get the stream in the chat.
This season is put our drivers through their paces, with each of the 21 circuits offering its own unique challenge.
Div 1 stream, and there we go. Right, hello everyone, and welcome back to ESRL. It has been quite a while since I last commentated ESRL, a few months, because I was racing in the Sprint Championship, but we are back for Division 1 in ESRL. Season number 6, and I can't wait. I'm sure you can't either. And you know who else can't wait? My wonderful commentary partner, Sumo Gilligan. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, thanks, guys. You know, I just thought it's been a little while since we've been in the box together ourselves. I don't remember the last time, personally. I think it might have been an ESRL event, perhaps.
Yeah, it probably was, because obviously you're on track in Tier 2 these days, giving it a good go. And hopefully you'll be less spinny next season, because we'd love to focus on you a bit more.
Of course. I mean, you know, the brick wall will return. Don't you worry about that. Maybe it's a slog getting used to the wheel, but I'm getting there slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's turn our attention back to ESRL. We've got Speed Alcoholic out on track, about to do the first lap of the qualifying session. He missed out on the title last season by 1 point, and is now teaming up with the driver he finished level on points with last season, Short Marcus, both in the McLaren this time around, with their arch rival, the Tier 1 Division 1 reigning champion TF Martin, staying in the Red Bull and at the moment staying in the pits. But Speed Alcoholic coming through Sector 2, DRS open all the way down the straight.
Oh gosh, what a season sprint was for ESRL as well. By the way, it was a hell of a fight between yourself, TF Martin, and Short Marcus there as well. And I'm expecting the same thing here. I think those two drivers were absolutely inseparable during the entirety of the sprint. They didn't give me a moment's peace in the commentary box during the sprint event. Speed Alcoholic coming around on the medium tyre, interestingly. He did this last night, actually. I was there for the ESRL team event, where ESRL are represented by Speed Alcoholic and Mr. Red Flame Joe of APPF1. And I think he's in here too. I don't know. I don't think he might race for Div 2, maybe. I don't know.
He raced for Div 1.
He does race for Div 1.
Oh,
okay.
But he doesn't race in ESRL. He's in APP.
He is in APP. But yes, this is what he did last time and sets the pace so far on a 22.9.
Yeah, he certainly does. We've got Wiggy coming round in the Alpine, one of the new faces this season. There's a few new faces, which we will get to in due course. Palang, the Canadian, coming down through the last corner now. Is he going to be challenging Speed's lap? No, a 23.5 from the Alfa Romeo. What about that AlphaTauri behind? That's B17, one of the new faces, a long way back from Speed Alcoholic's lap time. But yeah, Speed, Marcus and Martin were all separated by 1 point last season, all three of them. It was absolutely remarkable. And you won't see the like very often in these league racing championships. So hopefully we do see it again, because that would be incredible if we could get a fight like that 2 seasons in a row, as Johnny Stokes goes P2 by 75 thousandths of a second, and JAG Cheb, who I'll refer to as just Cheb, one of the new faces, in P4 in the Williams. But that lap from Speed on the medium tyres looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be interesting. I doubt he'll stay on those medium tyres. The track will definitely evolve as we continue to go. We've got 30 minutes left. Interestingly, I'm watching DRL Lancer. He is also on the mediums, as Short Marcus goes a 10th quicker than his teammate. So, I don't know. He might have... there's definitely a little bit of time. There's definitely more time out there. I don't think that's what the capability of the soft tyres is by any means, but I'm interested to see where Lancer comes through. He's just got 3 corners to navigate. A little bit too much curb through turn 14 there. 2 more corners to go through 15. Flat through there. Then down into 3rd, or into 4th even for short for DRL Lancer. But the final corner comes out 23-0.
Yeah, a couple tenths back from speed, yeah, Short Marcus at the top of the standings, but Speed Algolic looking very, very strong on those medium tyres. I am fascinated to see what lap time the reigning champion puts in. TF Martin, Clemo goes into P2 and splits the McLarens in the meantime. As Aces versus Kings, the ever-improving Haas driver goes up into P6 for now. Yeah, Martin coming through the middle sector now, down the straight, all the way down. I do wonder how the setups are going to be today, Sumo, because sometimes you see people with running lower downforce setups around Abu Dhabi for the incredible straight line pace to make up for the corners in Sector 3, but oftentimes it doesn't end up working out long term.
No, I've always said with Abu Dhabi, it's one of those circuits. There's a few circuits like it on the Formula 1 calendar. Belgium springs to mind as well. It's where you can't ignore one sector for the sake of 2 other sectors on the circuit, because it will gain you that benefit perhaps during a qualifying session, but over the overall lap it's not going to gain you all too much, especially if you're sacrificing that downforce in that middle sector. And the middle sector is probably the most technical part of this track, as TF Martin sets a 22.2, a whopping 6 tenths faster than Short Marcus's time, so there's definitely more time to be found out there. But it's going to be interesting. I think one of the last times I did a league race around Abu Dhabi, that was in its old iteration, I believe. I think it was, at least. I definitely put a lot more focus onto that final sector, because it is more important to have that ability to get around those corners, because I think a lap is made or lost in that sector. And it's also, I think it's also true for race pace. If you can be quick through the middle sector, you can gain time on your opponents in front or behind you, and it doesn't matter if you're a little bit of a boat in the straight.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can extend that gap in Sector 3, then your opponent's just not going to be close enough behind you for the straight, even if they have better straight line speed. As JAG Greg, another one of our newbies, it's a big snap of oversteer out of the hairpin, but goes into the middle sector now. We've got 2 from JAG as newbies this season, Cheb and Greg, so good to see them. I think Wiggy is also from JAG as well, so great to see ESRL's driver lineup branching out. But Greg, DRS open all the way down towards the next corner, but getting a lot of oversteer moments through corners, I'm noticing. So perhaps a setup issue, and we could see him struggling for oversteer in the race as well. And good evening to Marcus in the chat, and good evening to all 6 people watching right now.
Yes, good evening everybody. And looks like Alpine might be doing a little bit of teamwork here. It looked like Wiggy slowed down in order to get some slipstream off of his teammate, JAG Greg, who's coming around the final couple corners now to finish off a lap, whereas the Alpine going to set himself as he comes across the line. 23.4, good enough for P10 for now. These are some close lap times, and I think they're only going to get closer as we go. The only big gap, of course, is between Martin and Marcus, who are, well, again, it's going to be an interesting championship. There's so many big names in there, and my tip of the week, or tip of today, I guess, or tip of the race or the season, is keep an eye on Aces versus Kings. He has been steadily improving in his whole time here in ESRL, and even in APP as well. I think he's a great driver. I've had the pleasure of racing against him many a time, and I think with the Formula 1 games, you go into this sort of peaks and valleys, as they say. So you have moments where you're very good at the game, and then you have moments where you're perhaps you're lacking. You're not as good as you can be. And I think Aces is starting to get a bit back in towards a bit of a peaking moment of his career on the F1 games, and I think he's going to be in for a shout for a few podiums maybe this season.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think he's well on his way to becoming the aces of old again. It's ever since he turned off his line, really, which is understandable. He hasn't been as good since then. But Lancer, a big moment of rear locking through, I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, turn 5, yeah. As he goes down the straight, DRS open. He's got a McLaren just ahead of him, who's also on a lap. So this could end up getting a little bit dicey if Lancer is particularly fast on this particular attempt, but a little bit wide at turn 6 there, and DRS open again down towards the long left-hander. We'll see if anyone can get closer to Martin's lap. Remember, Lancer and Speed both did their initial laps on the mediums, so they're the ones to watch here, as Lancer is improving by 3.5 tenths in the middle sector, and him and Speed are going to approach the start-finish line at very similar times, so looking forward to seeing what their times are as Speed comes to the final couple of corners.
Yeah, Dero Lancer fastest in sector 2, comes on the final corner now. Where's he going to place himself in the session? It's P2, only a few hundredths of about a tenth of a second off of TF Martin on second looking. But that's a decent lap from Lancer. That is a very, very good attempt, and there's still time for one more lap out there as well. These are the second runs of the evening. Anybody else about to come around to finish a lap? There's an Alpine maybe. Is Wiggy? He's coming into the pits. He's invalidated.
Yeah, I think Johnny Stokes and Short Marcus definitely have more to find. Marcus improved by 2 tenths on his previous run, which we weren't watching, just behind or in front of Speed. But Johnny Stokes, I think, in the Ferrari can find some more time for sure. He is a very quick driver as well. But I think just it's all about the season-long consistency. That's what you need for a championship. And, well, Martin didn't used to have that at all. He used to be horribly inconsistent. Back in the days of Season 4 of ESRL, back when Ayrton was still on his 3-time championship streak. I hope he comes back at some point, as, Speed Alcoholic might be in a bit of trouble there, Sumo. I don't know if you caught that.
No, I didn't see that, but I don't know that Lancer was even on a lap.
Yeah, no, Lancer was on his second attempt, so I think it was fine, but a little bit of a moment, a scary moment there for the both of them, as Lewis also comes into the pits. Scotty in the Ferrari, also on a lap. Coming through the middle sector now. We'll see what he can do. Currently down in P11. Hello to Lupis in the chat as well. Hope you're thinking of signing back up to APPF1 next season, Lupis. Sign-ups are open. But Scotty is 3 tenths up through the middle sector, but invalidates on the exit of the long left-hander.
Just watching QB, not the best lap, an improvement on his previous, 4 seconds or so off of his next closest rival, but always got a little bit of love in my heart for QB, my first teammate in sprints back in the day.
Yeah, he puts in a shift, QB. You know, you were saying earlier, Sumo, it's demoralising to be running at the back, but, you know, QB just turns up, drives around and finishes ahead of everyone that DNFs, refuses to labellate and leaves again, and then comes back the next week. So nothing but respect for the guy. As Womax is about to start his next effort, the Bulgarian driver, currently sitting in P14 in his Aston Martin, looking to improve. He's 8 tenths away from P13, so he's got a lot to find, and does find a lot. 2 tenths in Sector 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's finish first. First you have to finish, as the old adage goes. So, yeah, I mean, it is demoralising, but you just got to keep going. Most of my results of Tier 2 last season were for just sticking it out and finishing ahead of others. I mean, I wouldn't have finished 5th place in Baku if I had have just retired after the spins I had on that race. So, you know, there's a lot to say about resilience and just keeping at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Womack's half a second up in the middle sector in the meantime, so looking to get closer to the rest of the pack. And I'm sure B17 will be thinking the same. Scott yet to put in a lap time, having invalidated a couple of times earlier. But Womack's into the final sector now. Last couple of corners for the Bulgarian, flat out through the penultimate corner, and then down the gears into third for the last corner. And on the exit, it's going to be a 23.3, a big improvement from Womack, and puts him up to P11. He'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, he'll be definitely happy with that one. He'll be wanting to perhaps break into the top 10, but I think he hasn't got enough time. No, he's not. That's going to be him done, so he'll hope that his rivals have some mistakes around him. But you've got the likes of Scotty here and Wiggy out there as well. The two Alpines working together. As we see, nice to see some teamwork out there during qualifying. As Greg makes his way through a little bit squirrely through that clumsy left-right chicane there that splits the two DRS zones on the circuit. He's coming down to the Sector 2 line now. Where is he going to place himself? Or at least on his improvement. He's a 10th down on his previous attempt through there. Anybody else on a lap at the moment further ahead? I don't think so. Greg's going to be the first to come forward.
Aces is 2.5 tenths up just behind as well, so I'm keeping an eye on him. But we'll see if Greg can improve in the final sector. Currently sitting down in P14, very, very wide there. Must have lifted to avoid the invalidation, but that would have cost him some time. He comes around the final corner, wide again. This time he does invalidate. It would have been a 10th improvement, which would have got him up 2 places, to be fair. It's very, very close out there. Look at these times as Aces finishes P8. That will be his quali over. He lost a lot of time in the final sector, so he'll be disappointed with that.
Not a bad run, but I think it's not something that's going to be solid from Aces on that occasion. He might be looking behind him to see what the other drivers out on the circuit are going to be doing. I'm just trying to find the next driver on a lap. It's Scotty here, I think, in the Ferrari.
Yeah. Look at the traffic jam in Sector 3, Sumo.
Yeah, and Scotty's coming round to that, but he's 6 tenths up, Ghost. This is placing him currently in the 1 minute 22.8, which will see him up in at least P5 or 6. How much time can he gain through Sector 3? He's coming up on this traffic, though. He'll hope that drivers will get out of his way. There's yellow flags being waved through here. You can see the traffic sat on the racing line.
Oh, no! Oh, no! Johnny Stokes, the two Ferraris! The two Ferraris have come to bear. Johnny Stokes just not paying enough attention, and that is going to be an icy cool-down room in the Ferrari garage, as the top 3 are also on laps, but that is such a shame for Scotty here. He would have been at least in the top 6.
Oh my word.
Oh,
narrowly avoided the Williams right into the back of his teammate. That is not what you want to see at all. Scotty's going to be fuming with that one. I think Johnny might be he'll be kicking himself, I think, after that one. Oh dear.
Absolutely. JB in the chat saying Ferrari. Yeah, that's definitely a Ferrari moment if I've ever seen one. But we've got TF Martin, the defending champion, currently on pole position. Can he improve his lap time? We've got Lancer and Speed just behind him. Lancer improves to a 22.1. That's the benchmark, and Martin can't match him. What about Speed Alcoholic? He's a 10.5 up in the middle sector. Can he find another half tenth in the final sector
Marcus
to take pole? Marcus up to P3 in the meantime. Huge improvement from him. Speed is a 22.0 and takes pole position, unless there's something Clemo can do. He's P5. What about Lewis AP? Is he improving by enough? We're about to find out. He's coming through the final corner, very deep though on the exit, and that's going to be his lap done. And Speed Alcoholic takes a sensational pole position in the first round of Season 6.
Oh gosh, what a qualifying session that was at the end. The two Ferraris coming together, the battle for pole going on. Johnny Stokes here, we have a 5-place grid penalty, but I'll let you run through the order, Ghost.
Yeah, that is one of the rare deserved 5-place grid penalties given by the game. Yeah, Speed Alcoholic on pole position by just over a tenth from DRL Lancer. Look at how close those qualifying times are. All down the grid. Lancer in P2. Martin, the defending champ, on the second row with his arch rival Short Marcus alongside. And then it's Clemo and Johnny Stokes will go down to 11th. Then it's Lewis, Wiggy, Ace Peters and Palang making up the rest of the top 10, with Scott, Cheb, Womax, Scotty, Greg and B17, the last of the top 16, and then QB quite a way back. But I mean, you had about 5 or 6 drivers there within a tenth in the midfield in qualifying, and I think this is going to be one heck of a season opener.
Yeah, certainly so, JB. This is a great end to quali, super close at the top. Yeah, it was. The lap times came in, and it was a phenomenal effort from Speed to get that pole position by that margin as well. And it's going to be an interesting fight. You've got both Mercedes up there. There's both the McLarens as well. You've got TF Martin. He'll be up there trying to challenge too. And he's starting alongside Short Marcus. No love lost between those two whatsoever. And the 3 title rivals of last season all up there as well. It's going to be an explosive opening round, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be quite the race. I remember last season in Abu Dhabi, where Martin had a massive championship lead potential if he just finished this race, because Marcus wasn't there. He couldn't make the race, and all Martin had to do was finish in a decent position and he'd take a huge championship lead, and he ends up crashing under the safety car, and then DNFing later on as well, or I think he just got no points or something. I can't quite remember how it ended for him, but I do remember him crashing under the safety car, and he bottled it. He ended up winning the title, but it made it a lot more difficult than it should have been. So this track, not short of drama in ESRL's recent past.
No, not at all. And yeah, this track it's going to be an interesting one. It's much improved since its last iteration. Much more potential for racing there. Still a bit clunky in Sector 3, of course. If you want to go racing, it is hard to make overtakes work around there as well. But we'll see. I mean, the cars are slightly too big, I think, just for at the moment. They've increased in size over and over again. It'll be 2026 where they'll have a shrink off size. They look like they're going to be much shorter, at least, about just as wide though, so it might not be too much of a difference, I think. But we'll see, I suppose. We can't talk about 2026. We're not even started the 2024 season yet. So
I mean,
F1 23.
I mean, it kind of feels like we're just riding on the Max Verstappen train until 2026 at the moment. But so I don't blame you for talking about 26, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a good shake-up though, wouldn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some interesting, perhaps. There's at least some interesting prospects for next season, perhaps, as we get onto the formation lap of the race. Just, I don't know. Will Mercedes be a bit more resurgent? Will they use the time during the winter to change their chassis and change their concept, perhaps? Are they going to go back to 0 pods? I don't think so. I'd hope not, because it just didn't work for them out there. Is McLaren really going to continue their upward rise? I certainly think so. There's definitely a lot of prospects going on for next season, and how will the RB20 continue to be as reliable as the RB19?
To be honest, I'm expecting McLaren to be awful in Bahrain again, because that's been 2 years running now, where they've had a decent season at the end or after the midpoint, but in Bahrain they were the worst team on the grid 2 years in a row. So half expecting that again, but I think if they can get through Bahrain, and they're pretty good in Bahrain, then I think they're in prospect for a very good season. They're in prospect for a very good season here in ESRL as well, because we got Speed Alcoholic on pole and Short Marcus on the second row with his arch rival, which you'd just love to see in Martin. Almost the whole grid starting on the medium tyres, with only Clemo and Scott on the hards. But the story of the tyre choices is our pole man, Speed Alcoholic, starting on the soft tyre compound. So he is going to be looking to streak away in the early stages of the race and build a gap that he'll hope no one can catch.
Yeah, he's already streaked away at the beginning. That was way more than 10 car length speed. What's going on there? But Yeah, interesting actually, because the race that took place last night, the ESRL team event, everybody started on the hards. Unanimous decision, all 20 drivers on the hard tyres. So this is almost an inverse of that, I suppose, other than Clemo and Scott opting for the hard compound. It'll be interesting to see how they go. Keep an eye on them. They'll be going longer into that first stint, and they'll be faster on the second stint, barring any safety cars, of course, which could interrupt everybody's strategy. But we're lining up for the green lights.
Just noticed Scott in P10, by the way. Great quality lap from him right at the end. Didn't even notice. But here we go. We're about to get ready for 5 red lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are lit up. And away we go for the start of ESRL Season 6. It's a brilliant start from Lancer from P2. And he goes down the inside of Speed, who loses the place to Martin as well briefly. They're going to go side by side through turn 2 and 3.
Whoa.
Speed is ahead. Martin loses place to Marcus. I'm not sure what happened there. Perhaps Sumo can enlighten us later, but someone's round. That's Cheb in the background in the Williams, as now Speed Alcoholic down the inside of Lancer into turn 5, and he makes the move stick, but they're going to be side by side all the way down to 6 as well. Who's going to come out in front here? Speed needs to work those soft tyres at this early stage. Lancer right behind him. He's using the slipstream. Speed makes a movement, and Lancer loses straight line speed as a result, as Marcus goes down the inside of the Mercedes. There's a bit of contact. Marcus takes the wide line for a better exit, but Speed streaks away just like he wanted to, and now Martin right behind these two as well.
Gosh, what a start from Marcus. He sort of was quite conservative on the start, let the top 3 battle amongst themselves, and then he saw an opportunity. He saw Martin a little bit compromised, a little bit pinched by Speed Alcoholic on the inside of turn number 2, and Marcus just swept around the outside in what was a very ballsy move and a very big statement of intent, I think.
Oh, great stuff from the two arch rivals. Johnny Stokes, by the way, with a great start, as well as Greg, up 3 and 4 positions respectively. B17 up 3 as well. Wumax and Cheb down places due to their mistakes on the opening lap, but it's Speed Alcoholic who leads us off. Sorry about the gaps on the left hand side. They will fix themselves after lap 2. They always do, but Lancer sticking with Speed for now, not letting him use those soft tyres to their full effect. And if he can stay in DRS range, then Speed's going to be in a bit of trouble come lap 3.
Yeah, tyre wear is not very favourable around this track. I think it's a mistake, Speed, starting on those soft tyres. He's going to lose a lot of time, and Lancer seems he's got a lot of pace on those medium compounds as well. He's definitely sticking with him. Speed's not really been able to get the advantage that he would have liked out of the softer compound, and as a result I think it may cost him later on, unless a safety car comes out to help him. There's Blade.
Here comes Lancer.
Blade, B17.
Oh, down the inside goes Lancer for the long left-hander, but Speed holds it around the outside and keeps the lead. But Lancer is absolutely flying in that Mercedes right now, and in fact goes into the back of the McLaren. A tiny bit of contact, no harm done, but it just shows how strong Lancer is in these early stages on those mediums, and how comparatively weak Speed seems to be on the softs right now.
Yeah, Speed's used a lot of his ERS at the moment. He's got about 50% of his battery already, whereas his rivals have got about 80. It's interesting actually just seeing how much battery drivers use. There's some drivers who use very little on this opening lap, like Lancer and TF Martin, but Marcus and Speed, they've used quite a lot already, and we've only just got to lap 3.
Here we go again. It's going to be DRS for the Mercedes driver as Lancer looks to take the lead of this Grand Prix. Going down towards turn 6, he pulls to the inside. There's nothing Speed can do about it, and Lancer just sails past before the corner. Speed nearly into the back of him. Marcus nearly into the back of his teammate as well, as Martin looks for a move. The defending champ not content with finishing P4 in this race, absolutely not, as he uses the ERS now, the advantage he's got. He goes to the outside, the McLaren's cut him off. It's good teamwork from them both, but that's not good teamwork. They've come together, Speed and Marcus, with some contact, and it's drama in 2 teams' paddocks today so far, as now Lewis tries to get his way through but backs out very sensibly before the corner. But it's Lancer who leads from Martin now, as the McLarens have been the architects of their own downfall here on lap 3.
Yeah, I think Marcus was just caught out by by the lack of speed from speed into that parabolic turn number 9, and that is what's caused that incident there. Lucky not to take out Martin in the process, to be honest, because they were all so close together. Meanwhile, Aces is way down. He must have had a mistake, but before that, Johnny Stokes made a lovely little move on him at the exit of turn 7, got a much better exit, and just passed him before the DRS activation came.
Yeah, Aces did indeed bin it in the final sector, as here comes Martin now for the lead of the Grand Prix. The defending champion pulls to the inside, and after a McLaren's disaster, Martin now takes the lead, and it's just what both of them did not want to see, as the Red Bull is now where he so often was last season, but Lancer's coming back at him with the DRS down towards the left-hander. He's going to go round the outside. It's going to be difficult to stay there. He brakes early and tries to get the switcheroo on Martin, but doesn't quite manage it, and the Red Bull stays ahead for now, but these two are going to be battling hard, I think, for the next few laps, and the McLarens will be certainly hoping they battle so they can catch back up, but Speed Alcoholic is having a nightmare on those soft tyres already. I think he's made a big mistake in the strategy here.
Yeah, just what Marcus will hope for is these two fighting, but as I said, yeah, Speed made a big mistake on this strategy. I think this is not working out. I think the soft tyres are only good enough for a last minute sprint after a safety car. Wiggy's gone round at turn 14 as Cheb's just passed him there as well. But yeah, Speed, I think he'll be well, he'll hope that a safety car comes out soon, but I mean, you can't hope on something that may or may not happen.
Yeah, Wiggy into the pits, in fact, so took some damage, obviously, and B17 also in at the back of the grid, but Lancer closes his DRS going down towards turn 6, doesn't want to overtake here. He wants to leave it until the next DRS zone, and here comes the Mercedes, gets a great exit. I always struggle with the exit out of that corner, it's so difficult, but these two both nail it, and here comes Lancer. It's going to be the outside line again. Marcus is right behind them in case anything goes wrong, but again Martin breaks later than the Mercedes. They're so close, you couldn't fit a piece of paper between them as they go side by side through, but it's Lancer who this time takes the lead. Martin looks to the inside very briefly, but that would have been an absolute disaster if he'd sent it, and Lancer retakes the lead with Marcus just hanging on to the two of them, but I think struggling for race pace at this early stage. But we know Marcus is a fighter, and that is why he does so well over championship distances, because he fights no matter what, and always there all the way to the end of the race. You can never ever count him out, especially for his electric race pace a lot of the time. But I think someone else we can't count out here is Clemo, as Martin and Lancer side by side again down towards turn number 5, and Lancer gets the switchback, and look at this, it's going to be DRS enabled for Martin, but Lancer with the better exit is going to make this an interesting drag race down towards turn 6, but I think Martin's got it due to the DRS, but Lancer right behind him still, and again it's going to be DRS for the Mercedes down towards the next corner. A bit of an error as well for Martin is not going to help his case as they go down the straight.
I'm just going to point out one driver in particular right now, Clemo. Keep an eye on Clemo as the lead changes once again. Martin Lancer swapping positions again. He's on those hard tyres. He's 2.7 seconds off of this fight for first place, but he's got a decent track position with the tyres that he's on and the strategy, so he could be a factor later in the race if he's able to catch up while these guys are battling, because now Marcus is going to be getting involved in this. He's 4/10 off of the top two, and he'll definitely want to try and get his elbows out and get in on this fight. And the more that they fight, of course, the more wear and more strain they put on their tyres, which only plays into the hands of Clemo in the Mercedes, who's slowly reeling them in.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Those hard tyres, he is doing very, very well with them at the moment. Just about 2 seconds adrift from this top 3, but like you say, as they start to battle, he's going to start reeling them in, and it's a good enough gap for him that in the second stint he is going to be very, very strong on the medium tyres. He's just got to hope that the safety car doesn't come out before he's able to do that, but it's seemed fairly not non-safety car-like so far, this race, as Speed loses yet another position on those awful soft tyres, as here comes Lancer now again with the DRS. It's deja vu for the 4th time, I think, coming down here, as it's going to be the outside line for Lancer. He this time breaks a bit later, but is just, I think, squeezed out. Not really squeezed, but just shut out by Martin, who takes the racing line. And Lancer, nothing he can do. And now Marcus right behind them. Clemo 2.6 adrift, but if they keep fighting, he's going to be closing that gap more and more. And you can see he's just gained half a second through those corners.
Martin is just driving on the absolute limit. You can see how squirmy that Red Bull is as he's gone through sector 3 there, and he got a poor exit out of turn number 7, and that's what allowed Lancer to go on the attack, but he didn't back off, used his battery to effect, managed to stay with the Mercedes and fend him off from there. But you can see how squirmy he was coming through sector 3, where turn 9, 10, 11, 12, as he got a little bit squirmy in as they just went under the hotel.
Yeah, absolutely, but here we go again, these two behind Martin, the defending champ, holding them off for now. But here comes Lancer to the inside, looks for it, but doesn't send it into turn 6, as QB gets a penalty for corner cutting, and he's going to be lapped pretty soon. He's just ahead of these guys, so we'll see if he causes any issues or gives Martin DRS at a crucial point. But here comes Lancer again to the outside. How many times have we seen them in that exact position at this corner so far? And Lancer again trying to switch back, but once again it doesn't work, and I think we've seen that exact situation 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, we have Martin putting on a good defence through that parabolic turn number 9, really going for it, and has a lot more confidence through that double left. As they go under the hotel there, you can see he gained so much more time on Lancer, who had was a little bit shaky through there, didn't quite have it all put together. Still, Clemo lurks in the background. He can see these 3 fighting among them. He'll be thinking, keep fighting, chaps, because I'm going to be closing in on you in a little bit, and I'm going to be in a much better position come the time for the pit stop windows to open as they go along. And Marcus, he's just sitting there ready to pick up the pieces if anything goes wrong between the two of them, as Lancer continues to fight this. And this is what he needs to do, really. I mean, it's going to hurt him a little bit, but it's going to stop Martin from just going away from this and checking out.
Scotty in the Ferrari goes around down towards turn 5. I'm not sure how he's managed to bin it there, and he's binned it again. In fact, he's going off track and crashing into the wall. I think that might be a technical fault, Sumo, by the looks of things. I wouldn't be surprised, because that looked very, very unnatural. We do have a VSC as a result, which neutralises this top 3 battle, and it's good news for Clemo, because he was losing time to those top 3 as well.
Yeah, they sort of calmed down a little bit. The gaps had opened up that tiny bit, so it was an invitation for Clemo to start losing that time a little bit now. But VSC, does anybody use that time to pit? Perhaps does a medium runner decide to go on the hards now? The hards would go to the end from here, I'd imagine. 20 laps or 19 laps, I suppose. Any of the top 3 going to come in? No, they all stay out, all holding station. Clemo stays as well. Doesn't look like anybody's really shaping up for a trip to the pits. I think everyone's just going to stay and let this one go. When will this virtual safety car end? Right now.
I'm very surprised Speed stayed out, to be honest. I thought that was a perfect opportunity for him to come in and get rid of those tyres, but obviously he has other plans. But the top 3 back to bearing again. Here we go, Martin with a big rear lock-up through turn 5, and that could give an opportunity to Lancer, but he doesn't seem to like overtaking down towards turn 6, because he wants to run down towards 9, but it hasn't worked so far. But he's doing it again. He's lifting off, so he doesn't overtake here. And he just wants to stick behind this Red Bull, because every time he's tried an overtake down towards the long left-hander, it hasn't worked so far. But maybe he's hoping this will be the one.
The the only acceptable DRS games that are allowed to be played out on the circuit, and this time it was. Better exit, uses the DRS to get past his rival there. Martin now demoted down to P number 2. For how long, we shall see, but a position change for the lead once again as we go through. We're on lap 10. I think the pit windows are going to start opening very soon. I think it's around lap 12 to 14, I think, for the medium runners.
I just want to draw your attention, by the way, to TF Martin's ERS level, Sumo. 99%, 100%. And yet he's still here keeping these guys behind. Obviously not this lap, but he was keeping them behind for a long, long time. Conversely, Lancer and Marcus down below 70%. But I think we're about to get some fireworks here, because Marcus is right behind Martin, and these two have a long, long history of drama on circuit. But Marcus gets the switch back through turn 5, can't quite make it work for an overtake, and Martin gets the better exit and uses that ERS, some of it that he's got. Here he comes, DRS enabled down towards turn 6. He's going to go to the inside of the Mercedes and make the overtake into turn 6, something Lancer was so unwilling to do. A bit of contact as they go through the chicane. Martin loses the rear a bit as well on exit, but Lancer again not really interested in making a strong overtake here, but Marcus is, as he looks to the inside to make it 3 wide. Someone's retired in the pits, that's Cheb, but Marcus had to back out of that one very, very quickly, and he's lost 7 tenths as a result of it, trying to make it 3 wide. It was never ever going to work. I think these two just always seem to get in each other's head, Martin and Marcus.
Yeah, they do. Marcus was boxed in there, really. I think he should have just backed off and stayed with him. I think it was a little bit of desperation perhaps that crept in to his mindset in this battle at the moment, just wanting to get involved, get stuck in and get battling. That's invited Clemo to get even closer as well. 2 seconds now is the gap, down from what was around 2.8, 2.9 seconds, and that hovering sort of state as they've gone along. But I think Marcus got a little bit impatient with that one as Martin just about holds it through turn 3. Down the inside of turn 5 he goes now, side-by-side contact perhaps between the two of them as they've gone through. Lancer just about holds on, but here's Martin once again. He's practically in the gearbox of the Mercedes coming down the main straight. Now down towards turn 5, he's down towards turn 6 even. He's going to opt to go around the outside this time, gets the job done with the straight line speed. He's going to invite Lancer to perhaps have a go at him down towards turn number 9 now. Let's see, he's going to have the DRS. Doesn't quite get a decent enough exit, but has got the speed, I think, in the Mercedes to go around again. And round the outside, once more goes the Mercedes, as they have done so many times this evening. And it's another change for the lead. 2 changes for the lead in just 1 lap.
Brilliant, brilliant racing between these two. Marcus just there as well, still in DRS for now, but like you say, Clemo is still hovering around that 2-second mark, and he is going to be very, very dangerous for these top 3 in the second stint. He is going to have to go longer on those hards, and the undercut is pretty strong around here, so he will lose out there, and he's lost out a second with a big mistake in the final sector there, which is well, that could really cost him a shot at the race here, because that is 1 second he will never get back.
Yeah, and that's really going to be detrimental at this time. He really needed to keep his head and keep going, because the pit windows are pretty much open now, I think, for these medium runners. They could start coming in at any moment. You can see that Speed's finally in. He spent 13 laps on those soft tyres. I don't know what it is about Speed Alcoholic. He loves to be he loves to go against the grain, doesn't he? He loves an unconventional strategy.
Yeah, sadly it doesn't work a lot of the time. But he is out on the hard tyres, so he's going for soft hard, and I'm not sure how well that's going to work for him. But here comes Lancer now with the medium tyres round the outside again of the Red Bull. It's same again as they go down towards the long left-hander, but this time Lancer's ahead before the braking zone and retakes the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I don't even want to have to count the number of lead changes so far this Grand Prix. It has been immense, and we've still got 16 laps to go at the end of this one.
and this is the only battle on track. No other drivers are actually close enough to be fighting one another. This is all we've got, and it's the perfect place for it to be, I suppose, in the top three. As Ghost Dog has something to say about this, he's clearly enjoying the race.
Yeah, no, Pippin's loving this. Doesn't understand what's happening, but you know, enthusiasm, that's all we can ask for. As Lewis.
Another dog called Mary.
No, I don't. My other dog's called Ruby. But Lewis into the pits, the second one to go in, but the first of the medium runners. Onto the hards goes the Williams driver, and he's going to exit down in P7, I would have thought, as Lancer and Martin swap places once again down the same straight, and Marcus still just behind them.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of, do you remember back when they did the virtual Grand Prix in 2020? It was a long time ago now. But when I think it was Albon and George Russell were just swapping places lap after lap at Brazil. That's what this reminds me of, that little bit. And they're managing to keep Marcus at bay as well. But this time Martin fends off Lancer. Will he go for a move in through here? It's an opportunity if you can get the run, but doesn't go for it. It's a dangerous one to make a move in towards turn 11.
Yeah, certainly is, as we've got someone going around. I think that was QB again, just getting lapped in the middle sector. But we've got pit stops. It's Lancer and Martin both into the pits at the same time, but Marcus staying out. So just trying to get that overcut and hoping they trip each other up on their outlaps, and it's very, very possible. Lancer comes in for the hards, as does Martin, and the Red Bull beats the Mercedes out of the pits, and they're going to exit in P3 and 4 because JG Greg has also come in just behind them, who, by the way, has made an incredible had an incredible race so far. He started quite far down the grid, but here he is up in P, I think it's going to be 8 when he exits. So he's having a great time out there as JG Greg on his debut.
Yeah, it certainly is. Out the pits he comes now. We'll see. Maybe it's going to be P10 as he's just been passed. And yeah, there it is, P10 for the Alpine. But I was looking at something. Clemo had another mistake. He had a mistake at the final corner once again. Little Tokyo drift around turn number 16. That's lost him even more time now. And I think he's that position, that threat he was hoping to be later in the race has slowly unravelled, and now he might not be as effective as he would like as Palang is around. Maybe no, that's the other.
Oh, Lancer and Martin. Lancer can't quite decide where to go to try and get past this Red Bull. They're still fighting, and this is great news for short Marcus. It's exactly what he wanted. They're still side by side, but Lancer finally backs out, looks briefly to the inside but doesn't go for it. But he just couldn't decide whether to go inside or outside down towards the left-hander, and ended up just staying behind as Clemo comes in, but Marcus stays out for another lap. That's a shock to me. But Clemo's going to be on those mediums to the end as Martin nearly bins it out the penultimate corner.
Yeah, and short Marcus has stayed out actually. Clemo's in the pits now. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to lose a place to Johnny Stokes.
Yeah, he has done. He's going to be out on those medium tyres, though. And if he can get out ahead of speed, which I think he's going to, he's in a decent position here for a podium, possibly. Especially with Marcus staying out so long. But Lancer with the DRS, here he goes down the inside. And it's going to be deja vu once again for these two. And once again, Lancer takes the lead down towards turn 6. Martin nearly into the back of him in the braking zone, but the Red Bull stays behind, and these two continuing to chase down short Marcus, who still hasn't pitted. I wonder if he's doing medium soft, Sumo, but given what happened to speed, I wouldn't have said that's the best strategy, as Martin again retakes the net lead.
Yeah, and you can see, even though they're battling, they're chipping away at that gap towards Marcus. It's 14.5 seconds. It was 16 a few sectors ago, so short Marcus has to come in, but he's staying out. This is going really long. I think he's going to throw this one away, I think, if he carries on. He's got to come in, I think, but he must be trying to go onto the softs.
Yeah, he must be, because 13 and a half seconds, I really think he's making a mistake here. but I don't know if him and Speed are communicating in a VC or anything. Speed doesn't usually use VC, so I'd be surprised. So I think Marcus just hasn't had the communication of how bad the softs were, and he's in real trouble of losing his podium here. Oh, there's contact between the Martin and Lancer. The Mercedes went into the back of the Red Bull in turn 5. I think they've both gotten away with it, but that was a scary moment for Lancer as he nearly took out his rival. I'm sure Martin will probably be straight to the steward's room for that one, even though nothing actually happened.
Yeah, it didn't change anything. I'll hope that there's no damage to the rear wing for that one. I don't think it was very hard contact from the sound of things, but here comes Lancer once again. Down the inside he goes, gets the job done. TF Martin might fight this though, doesn't, backs off, allows the Mercedes to come through now, and yeah, Short Marcus, I think he's bottled this. Is he going to come in on this round? He is, and he comes. It does Short Marcus. Will he go onto the soft compound tyre? Let's see. But it looks like he could come out behind Johnny Stokes, maybe even behind Speed, Clemo and Lewis.
I think he will. I think he's going to come out behind all of them, which is going to be a disaster for him. It is soft. It had to be, really. No point in going on hards now, but he's going to come out behind that whole train, and he has really bottled a podium here, Marcus, I think. They're coming down towards turn 1, and yeah, he's behind all of them, Sumo.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and cut his way through the 4 of them, who have themselves been in a little bit of a battle with each other. Speed and Lewis were battling as Clemo came out. Now Clemo seems to be in the midst of this fight, and Johnny Stokes has got involved now too, and this has turned out to be a fight for the podium, while the fight for the lead rages on as Lancer and Martin once again swap places.
Yeah, and here comes Speed. He does have a penalty. What is that? It's a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Down the inside of the Ferrari he goes, down towards turn 6, and he's going to make that move into P3, but that penalty is going to be very, very costly. It will drop into P7 as it stands. I saw a yellow flag and I saw Martin lose a position, so I thought he'd spun it, but no, it was further back. But that was a bit of a heart-in-the-mouth moment for me there. But Speed is still in P3, and Clemo down the inside of Johnny Stokes at the long left-hander. That's a great move on the grippier medium tyres, and he is up to P4 and looking for that podium, which I think he will very richly deserve from this race.
Yeah, he will. He's drove an incredible race so far, but Johnny Stokes went very deep into turn 9. That's what invited Clemo to just go down the inside, had that greater speed, was able to really pinch the apex of the corner and get that car rotated and in towards P number 4. And there's Short Marcus. Look, he's 2/10 off the back of Lewis. What this is going to do, this fight that he's found himself in, is really waste the potential of these soft compound tyres. But look how quick he's able to get onto the back of the Williams. He's going to try go round the outside of turn number 5. Can he brake late enough? Does he have the grip to go around the outside of the Williams? He holds the line he's got there at the moment. They're side by side as they go. He might find himself boxed in if they continue as they are, but he's got into the draft of the Ferrari ahead of him and gains the place. Clemo up onto the podium now as well, gets past Speed Alcoholic on those medium tyres, and I think what this battle here is, the real focus of it is going to be Short Marcus and Clemo, who are going to be the ones fighting for that final place on the podium, as Lancer takes the lead once again, as now Clemo and Speed Alcoholic side by side through turn number 9. Speed right down the inside. Is Speed holding up these drivers to allow Short Marcus an easier route through this fight?
Yeah, it's got to be in the back of his mind. He sees Marcus coming through, and there's contact as Marcus hits the back of the Mercedes there, who brakes to try and avoid going to the back of Speed. There's a lot of speed differential between these 5 cars, so it's very difficult for them. They're doing a great job to keep it clean so far. But Speed Alcoholic leads the train right now, and Marcus looking to get past Clemo for what would be P3. I think this is going to be a great battle, but Marcus is going to really struggle in the closing laps of this race if Speed's form in the first stint is anything to go by.
Yeah, certainly. So Speed's kind of leading this, but I think he's just slightly, he's the bottle cap, isn't he? He's the cork in the bottle that's slowing the 2 guys behind Clemo and Short Marcus down that little bit. Johnny Stokes has broke away, and here we go. It could be 3 wide going down. Marcus has got through. He's going to try and get past his teammate as well. Clemo's noticed that. He's going to try and follow him through too. Down the inside goes the Mercedes. A little bit of wheel banging on the exit there as well. Speed's going to hold it as much as he possibly can. Both of them very low on ERS deployment. Marcus got way more ERS to use here, and there goes Speed down the inside. Don't have a repeat of the early laps. McLaren don't take each other out again.
Oh, they've done it! They've taken each other out! And Lancer, by the way, I don't know what happened to Lancer, but he's all the way down to P3. He's lost part of his front wing, so I don't know what happened there while we were watching that, but the McLarens have come together. Speed is out of the race. Marcus has got no front wing. We have a very late safety car, and suddenly this race has gone completely pear-shaped for the McLarens. They came to bear on lap 1, and they've come to bear again, and this time it's much, much more destructive, and Ferrari and McLaren are going to have a very, very icy cool-down room. I would love to be a fly on the wall for those conversations.
Zach Brown is going to be livid. Somebody's going to die, I think. You've seen that man slap people on the back. I would not want to receive a punch from Zach Brown, because that would really hurt.
Well, what's interesting here is that a lot of drivers who've pitted have gone onto the softs, of course, but Clemo and Johnny Stokes have gone to the mediums, as has Wiggy. They don't think the softs will last, and honestly, given by what happened to Speed in the first stint, it's not as bad a call as it looks. There may not be long left in this race, but those softs degrade so quickly, and it's going to be interesting to see. But most of the grid have gone for the softs, as everyone's going to bunch up now, and it's going to get a lot of people back into this Grand Prix.
Yeah, it certainly is. Jacko saying Sumo with the ultimate commentator's curse. Yes, 100%. Drive to survive style drama, and it's only round 1, says JBS Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic race so far, but that is just a calamity from McLaren. Very, very careless from the two of them. I can't apportion blame. I only saw it once. And only from one angle, so I don't know if they'll report it as their teammates together, but yeah, it's certainly going to be a difficult one in the paddock for both drivers.
It was rather unnecessary contact, really. They sort of just closed in on one another. Let's take a little look. I'll see if I can find it. I'm going back through the stream. At least for myself, I'll be able to see it. On here, I'll take a little bit of a look. Let's pitch quality. That's a different video altogether now. Gosh, what have I done here? I'm ruining it. That's what I'm doing. Let's have a look as we go. Oh gosh, there it is. There's the crash. So they go around. They're close together already, and then I think it looks like Marcus just sort of comes back over. I'm surprised Marcus was lesser affected than that, to be honest. But Speed just sort of sticks it in there as they go through. As Marcus comes over, that's sloppy from Marcus, I must say.
I think it's sloppy from both of them to even think about getting in that contact with each other. I mean, they weren't really in a battle. Marcus was just going through with the soft tyres to try and fight for the podium. And Speed would have attacked him later on with the hard tyres, because we know those softs would have degraded. But at that point, it seemed like Speed was just there to be a roadblock for Clemo to give Marcus a better shot of taking that podium. And then suddenly Speed just went down the inside into the left-hander, and they were side by side, and then they come together on the exit down towards the next corner. It's just a very careless bit of driving from the both of them, I have to say.
Yeah, I think so. Just, it was unnecessary, really. There was not much reason to fight there. They were both ahead of Clemo in that instance. They were able to go. I mean, Speed should have just let Marcus go to see what he could do on those softs while they were at least somewhat usable, but just not the best go of it. Here we go. I think that's speed in the chat.
Yeah, it is.
I can't believe that happened. That was completely my fault. I was focused more on the car behind, not concentrating on Marcus, and we touched. Unbelievable. I've got a clip to show you guys after this. Oh, my day says Rick.
Well, I mean, it's all this is doing is handing the best chance of this race win to the defending champ, Martin, who once again is proving just how much he improved. Season 4, it was just, he was there. It was kind of the commentary punching bag, really, because he was so fast, but constantly binning it and getting into collisions and being all around a bit careless. And then suddenly, season 5, Mr. Consistent. And again today, the only one of those top 4 from qualifying to have no issues today. I don't even know what happened to Lancer. He must have got in his wing repaired, surely, but he just had no front left end plate, and because we were watching the McLarens, I didn't see what happened. So I don't know if there was contact with Ma or if he binned it himself.
We'll have to try and find out after the race, perhaps. That'd be something to keep an eye on if you're in ESRL, and you're in the chats as well. If you wanted to find out what happened there, I'm sure there'll be some discussions had, and there'll definitely be some stewarding reports to file later on after this race as we go through. But this is going to be the last lap of safety car. I think QB's just caught up. Lucky not to be lapped was QB. He was, when the others came in, he managed to unlap himself, thankfully. So
there's a very good reason he managed to unlap himself, Sumo, and that's because he oversped the Delta and got himself a drive-through.
He did, yes.
So unfortunately, he is not back in this race after all. He will be going straight back to the back, but 5 more DNFs, QB, and you'll be in the points. So I would say don't give up, but that man never ever gives up, so he'll be absolutely fine. But Martin is going to lead us off to start us once again. We've got 6 laps to go in this Grand Prix to finish off. Those soft tyres are going to be degrading towards the end, but not as much, thanks to the safety car staying out for so long. And I think Clemo and Johnny might be in a bit of trouble here, especially the Ferrari driver with that 3-second time penalty he's got. But when is Martin going to punch it? Safety car coming into the pit lane right now. And I remember this time last season he was in the wall at this exact moment under a safety car, but this time is absolutely fine. No such mistake from the German, the defending champion, coming to the last corner. Looks like he's going to punch it on exit, and he has done. And he leads the way by half a second from Clemo for the last 6 laps of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, keep an eye on Lancer. He'll want to try and get clear of these 3 cars as quickly as possible. I think maybe his teammate might let him through if the opportunity arises. But all over the back of Johnny Stokes is Lancer at the moment, riding on board with him. I am right now. Is he going to go centre? Yes, he sent it to the inside. Johnny Stokes went wide. Maybe you saw him coming, but that was a very easy move. Dispatched with the Ferrari quickly as Lancer, and they're all trying to break the toe of the driver behind them as they go through. Here comes Lewis, though, to the inside of Clemo. Has a little look, doesn't quite go for it. Lancer there as well. Here comes Aces with an almost audacious send on Greg ahead of him. Doesn't need to do that. He's fighting well in P8, just where he qualified.
Yeah, he certainly is. Martin already has an over 1 second lead at the front as he's finally using ERS properly in this race. Johnny Stokes and Marcus swapping positions as well as the soft tyre-clad McLaren gets past. Greg getting back past Aces as well in the meantime, just behind them. But Lancer trying desperately to get past these 2 cars because he knows Martin is just going to streak away if he doesn't get past them very, very, very soon. Only 5 laps left to go now, and Lancer, he's got to make a move at some point. He's got to risk it if he wants a chance at this race win.
Yeah, Greg into the pit, promotes Aces up into P7. Lancer needs to get rid of this Williams as soon as possible, and then his teammate needs to just get out of the way so that Lancer can charge after Martin on this. He's already opened up that gap to 1.4 seconds as the Red Bull and it's under danger of this race just going straight to Martin after all that has happened this evening with the safety car and everything as well. Lance is still no closer to getting ahead of this Williams, who is putting on a decent show to try and keep hold of this podium.
I think there is one saving grace of the safety car. It was at the same time that Lance had that incident, whatever happened to him. And that means that if it weren't for this, this safety car, Lancer would be a lot further behind with no chance of a race win. So he'll be counting his lucky stars that it's come out at this moment. But Short Marcus, I think, 1.3 seconds behind. He is out of this battle for the race win now.
Yeah, I think those softs, honestly, are already starting to show some signs of degradation. I'm riding on board with Johnny Stokes, as that's Palang that's gone round. No, it's B17 that's gone round in Sector 3, but they just looked a lot more put together through Sector 3, this medium compound tyre. So I think the softs are going to start being reeled in, and look, already Clemo's closing that gap again.
Yeah, I was about to say, and the gap to Lewis is opening up as well. I think the mediums have made the right choice, but especially Clemo. Johnny Stokes has got that penalty to deal with, which he's going to be gutted about, because he could have had a great shot at a podium otherwise. But he still could. You never know. But Clemo has the DRS somehow on Martin down this straight. He's got, I can't quite see how much ERS he's got. There we go. It's not much.
But inside, he made the move.
Oh yeah, there we go. Lancer up to P3. He's done the deed that needed to be done on Lewis, and he's up into the podium again. It's a double podium for Mercedes right now, and Short Marcus is going to be looking to try and follow past the Williams, but Lewis putting in a great shift on his season debut for ESRL, not his race debut. First time he started a season with the league.
Yeah, running well at the moment in P4, maybe a chance at the podium, just out of reach now, and he may even be under threat from Marcus, who's just closed in a little bit, but it's teetering on that 1 second to 9/10 of a second gap, and well, the lap times are ticking down. Clemo, it's go time, it's hammer time for Clemo now. If anyone is going to stop Martin from winning this race, it's going to be the Mercedes of Clemo, I think. Or maybe even both Mercedes working together to drag themselves up to that Red Bull.
And none of the three have much ERS left at all. Martin teetering on the edge of 10%. Clemo and Lancer already down below 10%, which could end up hampering them. And Clemo doesn't have the DRS either down this straight, which is going to help Martin quite big time. 3 laps to go. Palang with tyres in the pits, but Clemo has got the DRS down towards the long left-hander, and that's going to be critical, especially with Martin making a big mistake on the exit, which has cost him 3/10 or so, and ERS regardless, because none of them are going to have anything left, I don't think, by the end of this lap. And in fact, another mistake from Martin going wide. I think those softs already going down, and Clemo is in with a great shot of taking the championship lead with a race win in Abu Dhabi.
Well, if there's anything we've learned this evening, is don't touch the soft tyres at Abu Dhabi, because they are awful.
Yeah.
They degrade so quickly, just like they do at Bahrain as well. It's such a high-load circuit with a lot of the high-speed sections as you go through, and it really does take its toll on those soft compound tyres, and it looks like Clemo has just got the grip, and Martin's off the circuit again. You can see just how much more confidence Martin has. Well, Clemo has compared to Martin on his compounder tyres compared to Martin's tyres as they go through here. This is Clemo's race now.
It certainly is. He's going to have the DRS, but it's the ERS deficit that's going to hurt him. Martin still has some to defend with, but Clemo has nothing to attack with. He's going to have to rely on the DRS, and here he comes with the overspeed down towards turn 6, but he's not quite close enough into the braking zone, but it's just a sign of things to come here. We're going to go on to the last lap, and these two are going to be battling for the race win and what will be the championship lead. It's the first race of the season and of the year in ESRL. Clemo round the outside of Martin, and he takes the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on lap 28 of 29. An inspired decision to take the mediums when everyone else went for softs, and it could pay dividends with a race victory, but there's still one lap to go and he's still got to defend. Remember, Martin has ERS to attack with, and that's going to be Clemo's downfall if he is to lose this race win.
Yeah, he's got 2 DRS zones to really press that advantage of the medium tyres. He's got to open up that gap if he can. Break DRS is his best chance of keeping this, but Martin's going to run him all the way to the end. Will Lancer get involved now as well? They're going to be on fairly equal tyres as they go through. And Clemo's got that grip to use at his disposal, but as you say, Martin's got about 20% ERS, and that's about 10 more percent ERS that Clemo has. So, give or take.
And that oversteer moment out of turn 5 could cost Martin. It lost him about a tenth, which is not very much at all, but in the context of this battle, it's huge. And Martin right behind into the braking zone. That DRS really paying off, and he's going to use all the ERS he has left down towards the next corner. He's going to look for a good exit. He's got the best exit he could on those awful soft tyres, and here he goes. He's using the ERS. Neither of them have anything left. It's going to be a battle for the race win, and Martin round the outside. He has made the move, and he gets ahead in towards the long left-hander, but it's not over yet. Clemo's got the better grip on those mediums into the final sector. Can he pull off a move of the century to take this race win in the final sector? It's going to have to be an incredible send into the last corner, I would have thought. Here we go. Can Clemo do anything? Can Lancer take anything from this as well? Here we go, down towards the last corner. Martin is ahead. He just has to get a good exit. It's good enough. And he wins the race by 1.5 tenths from Clemo. Lancer takes P3 in the end. He's going to be gutted that he didn't have a better shot at the race win. Somehow Short Marcus has finished P4 out of all that. Johnny Stokes in P5 after his penalty, and Lewis down in P6. Great race for him. Great race for Aces as well in P7. Scotty and Wiggy 8 and 9, and then Scott taking the final point in the other Haas. He'll be happy with that. But what a finish, and what a season opener it has been.
Yeah, certainly so. And Clemo, I did say to keep an eye on him, and he may have made those mistakes in the early stint, but that safety car brought him right back into the race. Had a good shot and gave it everything he had as well, finishing 1/10 off of Martin, who has been an absolute monster of late behind the wheel of a car. Is an exceptional achievement, and Clemo and Lancer are going to be sat nicely on the top of the Constructors' Championship after this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And fastest lap as well for Martin, so he takes maximum points, 26 from today. Clemo only taking 18. He's going to be gutted that he lost out on that one, but it was just the slight ERS advantage that Martin had. That was what made the difference. 10% ERS can win you races. That's all you have to save sometimes, and it can be all the difference that's required. Johnny Stokes gets driver of the day from the game. I think my driver of the day has got to be Clemo. I don't know about you, Sumo.
Yeah, I think I'd give that to Clemo. He made the right strategy, I think, although you could make a case for any of the top 4, really.
I think, to be honest, actually, now that I think about it, Clemo made mistakes in this race. He was only back in it, really, due to that safety car. And he had a great shot. He made the right strategy call, I think, to go on the mediums. But Martin, to be honest, it's a bit boring to give it to the race winner, but I feel like he deserves driver of the day. Not one mistake from him or major error from him today. And obviously didn't see what happened to Lancer, but got to assume he binned it, but I'm not sure.
I mean, consistency wins you races, and he's got fastest lap as well. I think I can agree to give him driver of the day to Mr. TF Martin.
Well, there is your season opener for ESRL, and if that doesn't convince any of you watching here not to give this league a go, then I don't know what will. Martin takes the win. The defending champ gets his season off to a great start, but it was not made easy for him at all. Clemo finishes P2, but he'll be gutted that he didn't take the win. It's a German 1-2. Lancer finishes on the podium. Marcus in P4 after all of that, and then Johnny Stokes in the top 5. Lewis aces, Scotty, Wiggy, and Scott taking the last points on offer.
Wow, what a race. What a finish. Great effort from Clemo, says JB. Exciting finish, says Harris Octavius as well, who also thought he had a cold for a second when he joined. Maybe he's referring to joining and hearing me.
Yeah. But, wow, what a race. What a season opener for Season 6 of ESRL. And I'm very glad that me and Sumo could bring it to you here on the channel. Make sure to give the stream a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Helps me out, and it helps out ESRL as well. But any closing thoughts, Sumo, on what was a terrific season opener?
Well, there's definitely just more of this to come. Keep tuning in, keep subscribing, keep liking, keep sharing, doing everything you're doing if you're watching along as well, because there's a lot of exciting things to come with the drivers that we have lined up here at ESRL Division 1. You'd be a fool to miss it.
Absolutely. Well, Louis in the chat saying classic Martin W, and well, he's getting a lot of W's at the moment, Martin. He is the defending champion in every ESRL division. In Division 1, in the Cockpit Championship, Cockpit Cam Championship, and also the Sprint Championship. He's won all 3, and he's looking to defend all 3 titles this season as well. So we'll see if he can do it, but he's gotten Division 1 off to a great start.
Yeah, he certainly has, and we'll see. Will the reign of terror of TF Martin end, or will he continue to dominate? We'll yet to see.
Well, thank you all very much for watching, and thank you very much to Sumo for joining me in the box for this one. It's been an absolute cracker, and we hope you'll be back next week for the next race of the season, which is... bear with me. China will be the next race. Another great track. I'm sure we'll see some more great racing. So without further ado, thank you all ever so much for watching. Have a great weekend. I've been Ghost.
I've been Sumo.
And we'll see you all next week for more ESRL. Goodbye.
Goodbye.